Motion carries.
Your next item is to receive the general manager's report, and we do have a few good items to report to you. First of all, during the Urban Chamber of Commerce Green Tie Awards Gala, the RTC received the Corporation of the Year Award for its active engagement of minority and small business enterprises in fuel revenue indexing projects. Here to present the award to our board is our friend Ken Evans, president of the Urban Chamber of Commerce, who's been working as a community connector with the RTC since the FRI projects began. And I will remind you that when FRI passed both the county commission and you endorsed it, you all made it very clear to us that we were to work as closely as we could with our community to make sure the jobs stayed local, and that we did provide opportunities to small businesses, minority businesses, to the extent that we could. And that was not lip service. We committed to that, our staff committed to that, and Ken Evans is here to tell you a little bit about that.
Good morning, Ken. Great to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Here today, Ken Evans, President for the Urban Chamber of Commerce. Not here alone. Also want to take the time to recognize our board chair, Ms. Jerry Merritt, our board vice chair, Mr. Shondell Newsom, and then our immediate past chair, Mr. Napoleon McCullum, who joined me to come before you today to represent not only ourselves as the board and staff, but several hundred members as well. I want to say congratulations. I think we all recognize that it takes good, strong, solid leadership to do something like this. So to that end, I want to start out by saying thank you to Ms. Tina Quigley for her leadership. I also want to recognize some other members of her leadership team, Dr. Fred O'Heaney, Mr. Mike Hand, Charles Cheatham, who's not here today, but definitely here in spirit. And then last but not least, I want to say thank you very, very much to Ms. Angela Castro, who has been at the forefront of helping the Urban Chamber to connect ourselves and our members to the Fuel Revenue Index project. So I want to say thank you very much for that. Just a little bit about the journey. I've been in this position for a little over a year now, and I want to say that one of the first corporate partners to step up and make some things happen and make some construction opportunities a reality for our members was the RTC. We're grateful for that. We actually held a community connectors meeting in our Urban Chamber training room about 15 months ago to start the journey. And at that time, I have to be candid. I've been in Las Vegas for about 25 years now and been working within the construction industry for about that same amount of time. And there was a concern on the part of some of the contractors, subcontractors, and consultants that were we really serious about this and were we going to create some opportunities. Happy to stand before you today and report that we've had several of our members, both in terms of consultants as well as actual contractors and subcontractors, receive work as a part of the Fuel Revenue Index project. And we're optimistic that the contracts and the revenue will only continue to grow. For example, we have a partnership with the Association of General Contractors, and the reason why that's important is because we identified the fact that some of our contractors have experience as B licensed contractors, but they need to make the conversion to be A licensed contractors in order to participate in these projects. So it's doing things like that, of which again, Angela has been instrumental, the RTC has been instrumental, that are making procurement opportunities and construction opportunities a reality for our members. So thank you again, congratulations, and we welcome an ongoing partnership as we move forward. Thank you.
Miss Angela, do you want to stand up and at least be recognized? I know you're hiding down there. Ken and Jerry, Napoleon, Shondell, we've heard it before. When this board or a public agency talks about leadership and words, and your agency talks about words and leadership, all too often the action doesn't take place. But what we've seen is because of that leadership, we've seen results. And it's a beginning. We still have a long journey ahead, but we appreciate being recognized today as a public agency and hope to continue that partnership long into the future, past FRI, and it builds our community. And that's what we need more than anything right now, the jobs and the relationships going into the future. But on behalf of the board, thank you for your effort at the Chamber and what you do for the workforce in Southern Nevada, and keep up the great work.
Our next item is to announce our Superstar of the Quarter. Thanks. Our Superstar of the Quarter, we'd like to congratulate our accounting technician, Cassandra Campbell. Cassandra oversees the Transit Pass vendor program and works with 425 businesses. The program generates $14 million in Transit Pass sales every year. Cassandra recently took the initiative to rewrite our vendor contracts, which has made the program more efficient. She's being recognized for her organization and work management skills. Her outstanding commitment to the RTC has been noted by both coworkers and Transit Pass vendors alike. Thank you, Cassandra, for your hard work and dedication.
Were you surprised?
Yes. I could see the look on her face.
Thank you. I was not expecting this. As you were talking about leadership, I've got some great leadership. I've got some fantastic leadership there. So I can only do what they allow me to do. And I want to thank you very much.
Now, we don't need to stand up for this one, but I do want to take a moment to recognize an employee for a random act of kindness. Our own accounting supervisor, Sherwin Gutierrez, who went above and beyond the call of duty. Sherwin recently found a wallet while at the mall and returned the wallet to a very grateful 16-year-old and his father. The wallet had more than $200 inside, along with credit cards and an ATM card. Sherwin not only displayed a truly random act of kindness, but he refused to accept a reward. This random act of kindness was brought to my attention by a family member who was appreciative of Sherwin's efforts. I'd like to thank Sherwin for going above and beyond to return the wallet to its rightful owner and being such a good steward of the RTC. So Sherwin, if you could just wave. We have an important anniversary we're celebrating this month. Last Friday, December 5th, marked the 20th anniversary of the RTC Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA paratransit service. Since December of 1994, paratransit has provided more than 16 million rides. Without the specialized door-to-door pickup service, many people with disabilities wouldn't have been able to access destinations around the valley like medical appointments, grocery stores, and jobs. The RTC would like to thank all of our paratransit customers and our paratransit employees for sharing this experience with us. So, another one. And we have to recognize our vice chairwoman. Lastly, Vice Chair Deborah March, the Nevada chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council has selected her as this year's Advocacy Individual Award recipient. This award is given to an outstanding individual who has significantly contributed to advocating for sustainability in the built environment. On behalf of the RTC, thank you, Vice Chair March, for your persistent hard work and dedication in representing us so well.
Surrounded by superstars today.
And that concludes your General Manager's report.
Thank you, Ms. Quigley.
Next on the agenda is to receive the Nevada Department of Transportation Director's Report, and we have Deputy Director Tracy Larkin with us.
Good morning and thanks. I'm going to start off with Project Neon update.
that
We're
mic
doing
on?
the final evaluation of this. All right, is that better? All right, thank you. An update on Project Neon. We are doing the final evaluation of the statement of qualifications today. And the pre-qualified teams for this $500 million design-build procurement will be announced Monday at our board meeting. And you can watch that basically on our website beginning at 9 a.m. or you can attend at the District 1 conference room and it'll be video conferenced. On the I-11 Boulder City bypass, the Federal Highway Administration approved the environmental reevaluation for the naturally occurring asbestos within the project limits, and this provides the necessary environmental clearances for both the NDOT Phase 1 project and the RTC of Southern Nevada Phase 2 project. And we expect to open our bids for this project next week on December 18th. And I would also like to thank the City of Las Vegas for its partnership on the F Street project, which is substantially complete. Enough that we're actually going to hold a ribbon-cutting ceremony starting at 10 this morning, so I will say I will be excusing myself in about 20 minutes. And for those who haven't had a chance, please go down and take a look at it. It has very unique panels that celebrate the heritage of the West Side. It's very unique. And the continuing resolution for appropriations for the Federal Surface Transportation Program expired yesterday. And a vote is expected to pass today in the the vote did pass in the House of Representatives, and it is expected to pass in the Senate to provide a continuing resolution for federal funding. So that should be going in, and that is expected to go to next September 30th, so ending of the federal fiscal year. And that is it. That completes our report. Short and sweet this time.
Commissioner June Giuliani?
Thank you, Tracy, for the report. On the I-11, I remember not only with the asbestos reoccurring, but there had been a discussion about a different route from the Boulder High, or a different way to cut through. Is that resolved? I just remember something going over the hill. Fred? Yeah.
No, because of, if you recall, we did a lot of studies along the project alignment, and the results came in much lower than we expected. And as a result, we've kept the alignment as is.
Okay, so you didn't have to make any changes to that part of it. And the second question would be, after the first of the year, could we reset up or continue our discussions with the cities as well as NDOT about the possibility of turning state highways over to local governments as long as you get the money or the standards up to our standards and or provide funding for us to get them up to standards? We had one meeting, you weren't able to be there, but Mary Martini was, but we said we would continue that dialogue.
We can, and we have gathered the maintenance costs, and we do have a list of it, and then we could look at basically negotiate between what we would like to expect from each other, and then set up a phased approach, because there are some things where we cannot bring everything up to standard.
It gets expensive, and I know we were looking at the cost that RTC had done for Sahara, which is really the state highway, so we had some budgetary impacts to know what that would take. It's just that, in my mind, at least on my east side of town, with no disrespect to NDOT, the roads look like ugh, and the medians look even worse, and it's black, and it's asphalt, and there's no beautification, and it's not fair to the folks that live on that side of town as well. So I'd like to be able to kind of still continue that, and some of it's in the city as well, so thank you.
Councilwoman.
Also, Tracy,
Councilwoman March,
I just had wanted to discuss with you the fact that we've obviously seen a lot of pedestrian and bicycle deaths in the last month, and in fact, I believe we've had 21 on the streets in Las Vegas. In fact, there was a magazine article recently that was published, and it talked about how there were, I think, 20 deaths in 13 days. And I know that you have a campaign, the NDOT has a campaign, and I wondered if there's something that we could maybe dust off and maybe have some conversations about how we can address these concerns.
We did, just prior to the meeting, we were discussing basically getting our safety folks together, our people in planning, taking the people that work on our bike and ped education program, and then discussing with RTC and other individual and other interested entities and discuss what we can do to do a region-wide kind of campaign. One of the biggest problems, I mean, you have the problem of not only the drivers, but the pedestrians are not paying attention. Many of them, a nationwide trend is they're texting while walking, or they have, earplugs, and so that's something that we need to bring attention to, that it's part of everybody to look at it both ways.
Councilwoman Tarkanian?
Could you please tell me, who provided the funds for those very beautiful panels that you mentioned, the historic panels?
That project was funded by both the City of Las Vegas and
Oh, I
NDOT.
see, so it came from the monies that the city and the state gave. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, it wasn't an extra one. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. It's very nice to have you up here.
It is, I agree. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Your next agenda item 4, is to conduct your first citizens participation period.
This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, now is your opportunity. Do we have any cards? No cards. All right. Making sure, seeing and hearing no one, we'll close this portion of public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next is your consent agenda, which is items 5 through 69, and may be taken in one motion.
Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries.
Very good. Your first and only non-consent item is item number 70, which will be handled by Dr. Fred O'Haney.
Thanks, Tina. Item 70 is to receive a recommendation from the Evaluation Committee to select Las Vegas Paving, Inc. as the top-ranked firm and authorize staff to negotiate a contract in accordance with the final request for proposal number 14-011A, the I-11 Boulder City Bypass Phase 2 Design Build Project, or take other action as deemed appropriate. Mr. Chairman, we began this process last fall following an ordinance passed by county to index gas tax to inflation. There are 2 phases to this project. Phase 1, shown on this map, is in gray. That is being managed by NDOT. That's what Tracy talked about a few minutes ago. Phase 2, it's shown in red, and it's the project being managed by the RTC, and it extends from, generally speaking, around US 95 all the way to the Hoover Dam Bypass Bridge. As Tracy mentioned, a couple of days ago, the Federal Highway Administration approved the environmental reevaluation for this project, meaning that the project now has been cleared to move into construction. The approval comes with certain mitigation measures that have to be complied with between the RTC and that, the design builder, and any other contractor working on the project. We used a 2-step procurement process for this project. Step 1 involved issuing a request for qualifications, and step 2 was a request for proposals. Under the request for qualifications, we received 5 statements of qualifications that were shortlisted to 3 teams in January of this year. The board also authorized us to issue a draft RFP, a request for proposal, to the shortlisted firms. And the whole idea of issuing the draft RFP was to solicit input from the 3 shortlisted firms. Listed in alphabetical order are the 3 shortlisted proposals, the first one being Ames Fisher, a joint venture between Ames, Fisher Sand and Gravel. The second being El Dorado Mountain Constructors, which is a joint venture between Granite and Skanska, and the third team being Las Vegas Paving Corporation. We received quite a bit of input from all the 3 shortlisted firms, and in April of this year, we came back to the board to authorize us to move forward. At that meeting, the board approved the final evaluation criteria. They also approved a stipend in the amount of $350,000 to be paid to the 2 non-successful proposers for the design build project. We received 3 proposals subsequent to that, and the evaluation was based on 3 criteria. The first was a straightforward pass-fail, which was based on legal requirements, financial requirements, and other administrative requirements set forth in the RFP. Next were 2 other factors. The first one being a technical evaluation factor that was scored at 40%, and a price evaluation factor scored at 60%. The technical evaluation was evaluated independent of price and was conducted by 7 independent evaluators, 3 from the RTC and 4 from outside the RTC. Based on their technical evaluations, Las Vegas Paving was ranked number 1, El Dorado number 2, and Ames Fisher number 3. This slide now shows the total points for all 7 evaluators. Ames Fisher received a score of 545.35, El Dorado 581.5, and Las Vegas Paving 604.90. The middle column shown on the slide is the average of all 7 evaluators' score, and the column to the right shows the weighted average score when the 40% weighting factor is applied. This slide now shows their final scores of the technical evaluations, where Ames Fisher received 31.16, El Dorado 33.23, and Las Vegas Paving receiving 34.57 points. Now we get to the price evaluation criteria. As I mentioned, that is weighted at 60%, and the board approved a simple formula wherein the lowest price proposal received all 60 points, and the second and third lowest price proposals received a prorated score relative to the price proposals. Now this shows you the final price evaluation scores for all 3 firms listed in alphabetical order again. Ames Fisher received 45.07, El Dorado Mountain Constructors received 46.86, and Las Vegas, being the lowest price proposal, received 60 points. And this is the last slide, which shows a composite score of the final, the technical and price evaluation scores. Again, listed in alphabetical order, Ames Fisher received 76.23, El Dorado 80.09, and Las Vegas Paving receiving 94.57. Based on the evaluation performed, both on the technical and price, it is staff's recommendation that Las Vegas Paving be selected as the number 1 ranked firm. And if approved, staff will negotiate a contract with Las Vegas Paving and bring it back to the board early next year for approval. I need to mention that when we bring this item back to the board, there'll be 2 additional contracts, one involving our general engineering consultant contracts for support services during the construction phase, and the second one being a construction management contract that would help us during with construction management during the construction phase. With all those 3 items approved, the project can begin construction. I'll be glad to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Commissioner June Kiliani?
Thank you. So this will be a manager at risk?
No, this is a design build.
Okay, it's a design build. 'Cause
Yeah.
what was your last statement about the seam?
We'll have a construction management services support contract
Services, okay.
that would provide oversight of our design builder.
Okay. And the $350,000 that we pay to each, can you explain a little bit
Yeah.
further what that was for?
Typically on the design build project, when we give the design package to the 3 shortlisted firms, they take that and advance the design. There's a lot of work involved, and as a result, we compensate them for their efforts.
Okay.
Because we're going to enter into a contract with the number 1 firm, they don't get anything. But the 2 that are not selected are paid a stipend, and the board
Mainly
approved.
because they made the qualifications in the first place, but that's cost expensive, so it's an incentive so people would still bid in future projects?
And the idea is to give us more detailed design. I almost believe that they spend more than what we pay in them.
And on these 3, are all 3 union contractors?
I don't know.
Just
The
curious
evaluation
to
did
know.
not include.
I know you don't, but I always try to be sensitive to that. It'd just be good to know for future
Sure.
who is and who isn't. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Entertain a motion?
Sorry, move approval of Las Vegas Paving and for you to enter into negotiations. If that's the
Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the commission, your last item is your final citizens' participation period.
This is our second time set aside for public comment. Is everyone wishing to speak? Has everyone filled out a card? No. I haven't. If you would, it would make things perhaps more orderly. So we'll start first with Lorraine Marshall. And Tracy, in light of that 10 o'clock, feel free to head down there, and certainly Councilwoman Tarkanian, Councilman Ross, thank you. That's a big project, and on behalf of the RTC board, Tracy, send our best to Councilman Barlow, Mayor Goodman, and entire city staff. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Lorraine Marshall, and I own Irenic Consulting Group, a DBE certified company. And I've been successfully working with Las Vegas Paving as their diversity consultant, conducting outreach, working with small businesses and DBEs and a diverse workforce to help them work with Las Vegas Paving and do business with Las Vegas Paving. And I look forward to continuing this relationship on this project with them, helping them to exceed and maintain and exceed their 5.62 diversity goal. Thank you.
Thank you. Dennis Hennessy. Sam, you're on deck. Sam Centoria.
Members of the commission, staff, thank you for your time. First off, I'd like to address the board in this month's edition of Dirty Driving. No towels this month. No towels to bring up to show you. However, I just want to have a response to last month's statement from Silver State when he stated that the turnaround time on the buses was so great they couldn't clean the buses. I want to assure the members of the council that all those filthy towels that I brought before you were taken off of buses that had sat in the Sunset Yard for 3 to 4 hours and had full cleaning done on them. They weren't turnaround buses. I did meet with Kevin Adams, the GM of Keolis, as well as the Silver State representative, the owner, and there was some thoughtful back and forth discussion. However, in 5 months, there's been no change. There's been absolutely no change. So sadly, I have to put an end to dirty driving. So I'm retiring dirty driving today because what I feel is that on this side of the wall here, nobody cares. 5 months, we've had no change. I don't think there's a display of a lack of caring to the over 1 million people that ride our buses to have the environments that they ride in clean. And with that realization, I'm going to retire dirty driving. So you never see another dirty towel come up because I don't think you guys care. That's what you display. Secondly is what's going on with transportation right now in Las Vegas. I want to recall back to 2014, February, the meeting that you had awarding the contract to the 2 companies that we currently have. I remember Mr. Kempfler, and I actually saw the video where he warned you all about the threat to wages and benefits. Secondly, I want to mention Bruce Woodbury came up and warned all of you about, number 1, unacceptable levels of service, confrontation with labor unions, requests for contract amendments. Mr. Ross, you stated you were concerned and not comfortable with what you saw. You weren't convinced that there wouldn't be a lack of impact on wages, benefits, and layoffs. You wanted an assurance of a "you're fired" clause in the contract. Mrs. Tarkanian, you were so disgusted at trying to ask a question that you got up and left the meeting. You were that angry with what went on. Well, where are we now? Let me ask you this, where are we now? We're in a dangerous situation here. Mr. Chris, I know that I admire you at council meetings getting up and talking about local involvement, local people, local companies. You got an out-of-country and out-of-state contractor here, and we have thousands of families that are now at risk. And I don't understand how is it that either of these companies or both these companies are now advertising in California papers for $20 to $22 an hour plus plane. I don't understand it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hennessy. Mr. Santoria?
Morning.
Hold on.
Oh.
Sam, just hold on for a second. Can we reset?
Reset the shot clock.
Great.
Ready?
Please.
All right, good morning. My name is Sam Santoria. I am the Vice President of ATU Local 1637. No meal breaks, no toilet breaks. Both companies blame the RTC, not to your faces, of course, because you might yank their contract and send them packing. RTC blames the companies, but the drivers are still without scheduled meal breaks and toilet breaks. This is probably the biggest obstacle in getting a fair contract. Our top paid drivers have been at $21 an hour, which took them at least 10 years to get to, have been frozen at that rate now for almost 2.5 years. The companies say no retro pay. When General Manager Tina Quigley got her rate raise of 3%, it was retro. SEIU raises were given at about 3% also. I believe those were retro. Now an ad has surfaced recruiting scabs to replace striking drivers and mechanics. The pay is $20 an hour, $22 per diem, hotel lodging and airfare. A slap in the face to all of the hard-working people that actually make the system work. Blue-collar workers, not white-collar workers. How much money is being spent to bring in scabs, and who placed the ad? Both companies are quick to point out they are not Veolia. But when it comes to meal breaks, both are quick to point out we had a deal with Veolia regarding the issue. Then we have to remind them you are not Veolia. You can't have it both ways. Stop saying you can't get involved, RTC, in negotiations because of legalities. You certainly don't have a problem recruiting scabs. And don't forget to tell the media, when asked about a strike, that the greedy drivers wanting a scheduled meal break and toilet breaks, of which we have none. The nerve of us. And if you need money to get this, here's a way you can do it. All those streetcars that you spent about $100 million on that are sitting at the yard doing nothing but collecting dust, maybe you could take them to payday loans or title loans, like we have to do sometimes to make ends meet, and sell them and give us the money.
Thank you. Thank you. Had 53 seconds left, Sam. Robert Gonzalez.
Go, Robert. I was here last December. You might want to check that video. It appears to me, when I read the sign that's over the bus stops, there's probably about 300 out there, I think, bus stops you put at all major spots where the public gets on. When you read it, it says the RTC's job is to provide dependable and transit, and it's consistent. I don't know the exact word you use, but that's what enters my brain. But then it says there may be a problem with the contractors and the union, and that's where this letter begins. Number one, the RTC is the one in charge of the federal funds. Number two, the RTC is the decision makers. Number three, RTC split both yards. The RTC called in the auditors to make sure the winning contractors could run both yards, not lower the bus drivers' wages and benefits. I believe you said, Ms. Lewis, that if you had faulty information, your decisions would be faulty. I believe you said, Steve, that not on the backs of the bus drivers. And I believe you said, Chris, I believe you said that let the system run. It will work out at the end. How long do you want us to wait? Then, since then, everything's went, it's just been, just about everything's been wrong. It seems that the RTC takes the position that it's not their fault and that they should not have to be held accountable for what happened to the drivers. You guys are the decision makers. Don't you remember how the letter started? How can you not have some accountability? You can't blame it on just the companies or the bus drivers or the public. And I and many of the bus drivers and the ATU see it much different. Now, we were here, like I said, last December, you couldn't hear us. We're here now. You still may not be able to hear us, but should we strike that day, I'm sure you're going to hear all of us.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Jose Mendoza? Junior.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Jose Mendoza Jr., President for the ATU Local 1637. In regards to my email to Tina and you, Mr. Brown, regarding racism, that will be addressed through Mr. Senator Reed. But I do bring to your attention this transit union update that's been posted at the bus stops. And our Vice President, of course, mentioned the scabs. And we are assuming that the contingency plans is to be using scabs. Right now, we have the green light to call a strike. We are not calling a strike right now because we don't want to ruin the riders, their holidays. But come January, be ready. We're tired, we're fed up. You guys were warned many, many years ago, do not split the system, and you guys chose to. Now we got over 200 senior operatives who have not received a raise at all, and no retro pay that is being offered. We are not gonna accept a 4-year contract, period. We are gonna take a 3-year contract and deal with it. But we are gonna meet with both companies in good faith, as we've been doing, but we just wanna make sure that you guys are aware that you guys put us in this position, especially North Las Vegas. That's where the main problem is. Give MV the money. If you're not gonna give them the money, then fire them. You can under the RFP. We don't want no strike. The drivers don't want to strike. But when we took the vote, there were landslides on both yards. One company thought they would be able to buy them off by wages. They overwhelmingly denied that. Not only that, they wanted to do it behind the back of the negotiators. Whereas the other yard, that's where you need to give the money to MV. And you, Mr. Ross, you said that they better not come back and ask for any more money. Well, if that's the case, then terminate the contract. If not, then give them the money, because then you will see a strike. And both yards right now as it stands, the members are behind us. And of course, we don't have an overwhelming attendance here, but because they care about their jobs. And they don't want to be out there and strike. But they told us, if we call the strike, we'll leave the buses where they're at, not in harm's way, not in harm's way. They'll be safely vacated and left there for you guys to pick up. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak that hasn't put in a card?
Good morning, Commissioners. As you know, my name is Mickey. I'm a shop steward for the Keolis Yard. One of the problems with the Keolis contract, they wanted us to sign it, but they had a bunch of empty parts to it. There's a lot of stuff that was not negotiated on that they wanted to leave blank for us. So if we had signed this contract, at the end, they would have slid in all this discipline stuff that we would have been stuck with. If they wanted us to sign the contract, you have to give us the whole contract. That's like going to buy a car without an engine. You're not going to sign the contract and then get the car, and then they'll tell you they'll put the engine in later. No, you might not get an engine because you've already signed the contract. But we have the problem that that's what they wanted us to do. That's why our yard overwhelmingly denied the contract. We're not trying to strike. We like our jobs. We love to be with our passengers. But to accept something like this, we can't do that. They don't want to give us any money, but you're paying $20 an hour for training, $22 per diem for meals, hotel fare, room, transportation. We're not even asking for half that. And they can't give it to us, but you can give it to an outsider? This is in-house. We take care of Vegas. We don't need nobody to come from California to take care of what we take care of here best. We take care of these people. So if we take care of them, it's a slap in the face to us that you'll give it to an outsider, but you won't give it in-house. We deal with everything up here. These people are not dealing with it. They're coming for the money. They don't care whether these passengers get around. We do. They're here for the money. That's all they're here for. We're asking for not even half of that, and we can't get that. But they're stating that you guys are reimbursing, which I found out today from Keolis, remember? They're paying it, but you guys are supposed to reimburse them back for all the scabs and everything they hire. I don't know how true that is, but I'm telling you what I got from a reliable source, that they're paying it, and you're supposed to reimburse them. The other version I got is that you guys are behind the scabs being hired. You're paying for all that to keep the system running. Just saying, we're in-house. We don't want half of what you guys are paying these other drivers. We just want a decent contract and a decent wage, and we'll be happy. That's all we want. And a complete contract that's not full of a bunch of typos, as our general manager told us. Oh, that's a typo. This is a typo. Well, then take all them typos back and fix it. Don't bring nothing to us until it's complete, not a half contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to the board that has not submitted a card? Okay. I have 2 cards left.
You want me to wait?
No, please,
Okay.
please.
Good morning. My name is Mark Fernandez. I'm one of the owners for Silver State Transportation. I just wanted to come up and kind of say what we feel, because we have been accused of not caring about the ridership, and that is completely not true. We care very much about the people who ride the bus system. We work very hard. My employees work very hard. The turnaround is the turnaround. We can show you on video. We've had it. It's documented that the turnaround, you have over 400 coaches that need to be turned around in a 3-hour period. That's all there is to it. In the daytime, we don't have time to sit there and clean the buses because the turnaround. There's a lot more people. So the point is, we do care about our employees, our riders. We do our best at the cleaning. What it comes down to is we live in the desert. And I don't care whose house you go to, you're going to find dirt. We do our best. We take pride in what we do, and we appreciate the opportunity that we have to work with the RTC and with the 2 companies to do our best. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Adams?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Adams. I'm the Executive Vice President and General Manager of Keolis here in Southern Nevada. I'm proud to report, and I want to say this because I think this is really important, that in the last year and a half since we've taken over, we have seen records broken in terms of ridership, on-time service, and overall efficiency. And we have done that working very closely with your staff at the RTC, but we've also done it with the folks sitting behind me, with our drivers, with our mechanics, with our road supervisors, and our dispatchers. And I'm really proud to be a part of this overall unit. For the past 18 months, we have been in negotiations with the ATU. And those negotiations, as I have reported here before, have generally been positive and productive. To suggest that we've offered things that as a step back is somewhat disingenuous. Our latest proposal provided across-the-board wage increases.
Hold the clock for a sec.
Yeah.
You guys have been great. Let's be respectful, because when you start the chatter or the clapping or the booing, we can't hear what the speaker, including some of yours. Regardless, respect the speaker and hold your comments till after the meeting, please.
Okay, the items I'm about to give you are factual. The wage increases for those at the top wage scale, the drivers, over the next 3 years comes to 9%. For those working up through the ranks, coming up through the step increases, the wage increases over the term of the agreement are between 22 and 25%. I consider that a very, very generous offer. I went back and I looked at the prior company to see their methodology. That increase was typically somewhere in the 20 to 22% range. I think we've made a very, very generous offer, not an attempt to buy anybody out, but to do exactly what we said back when they referred to the other meeting, that we came in here, we bid in accordance with the current labor agreement, and we've continued with that commitment, and we will continue with that commitment. In addition, the medical and retirement benefits are not being reduced, and in fact, they're generous and have been agreed to by both parties. We pay 85% of individual employees as well as all family medical costs. Other enhancements include an improvement in vacation. We've also offered things like a 35-hour weekly guarantee to regular run operators, a 4-hour daily guarantee to the extra board. So we've put in quite a bit on that.
You have 19 seconds that we
Okay.
lost during my comments. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll just say this at the end then. We're in the fourth quarter. We're in the red zone, and we're trying to get this thing over the goal line. We meet again with the ATU on the 29th, and we believe that the package we have and the items that are remaining, that we should be able to get a deal working together. Thank you.
Thank you. Wayne Fritz.
Good morning, Chairman Brown, members of the commission. My name is Wayne Fritz. I'm the general manager for MV Transportation. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. We would not be hiring anybody from California if there wasn't a threat of a strike. It's our responsibility to protect the system. It's our responsibility to run and provide the service to the community regardless. And that's what we are attempting to do. Let me also make it very clear that nobody is paying us to pay these operators or anybody else. The RTC isn't paying MV anything outside of the legal contract. As a company, we don't normally respond to these kind of things, but I do want to say that we do need to address certain issues that are related to the labor negotiations. However, in the case of the actions and the comments of Mr. Mendoza, they're so egregious that we feel that we must respond. I want to apologize to the RTC staff for having to endure Mr. Mendoza's claims of racial bias and motivation. It's bad enough that we have to endure it. We certainly take offense to his statements, insinuating any impropriety between the RTC and MV. He's walking a fine line here with his false and outrageous statements. I'm here before you again also to update you on our negotiations. We offered and submitted to the ATU yesterday our best and final offer. Contrary to what you've heard, contrary to popular belief, nobody is financially going backwards in this BAFO. It is not happening. We are not asking anybody to do anything on the backs of anybody. We've offered an improved wage and benefit package under MV's BAFO and have provided a fair and balanced CBA offer. We have provided your staff with an outline of that, of the items that are left to be resolved of which there are less than a handful. The outstanding items requested from the ATU far outweigh.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Is there,
can I just respond real quickly?
no. Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Look at that
All right.
January 31st, 2013 letter to the RTC.
Is it, excuse me just for a sec, hold the clock. No, you stay right here. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak during this public comment period? Then would you step up? This is what we ask, because what we're not going to do here is a accusation back and forth. You're allowed to sit on the public record your comments and statements. Let's keep them professional. Let's try to avoid, on either side of this debate, anything personal. So if your comments are going to be directed on the record, please do. So you're a second speaker. Is there anyone else? These are our final two speakers. Mr. Mendoza, we may give you 53 more next meeting, maybe. All right, thank you, ma'am. These are our last two. You can come down to this mic. Okay.
See, you've made me nervous standing up here this long. My name is Carolyn Higgins. I'm the financial secretary for ATU and one of the negotiators. I'd like to come before you guys right now to let you know that you do have people who are interested in their jobs. We wouldn't get this many people out if they weren't concerned. Yes, we are negotiating in good faith. Yes, there is words being said through both companies. Yes, MV does use the platform of a safety meeting to disclose negotiation and intimidate the drivers. So we are concerned about our livelihoods. If that's a joke for everybody, then so be it. I've worked as a white-collar worker. I've worked as a blue-collar worker. Now, and I'm working now as a blue-collar worker, and we do our jobs for this city of Las Vegas. I talked to the Deuce drivers. They put a lot of hard work into taking care of those passengers on that bus. I talked to North Las Vegas, the Route 113, 206, all of the ones that you guys are putting the police officers on or the security on, they are rough routes. We're hearing that drivers are getting beat up. You've tried to protect that, but it still happens. So we're not up here trying to badger anyone, trying to say that they're not doing anything. What we're saying to you guys right now, enough is enough. We've been negotiating for 19 months. We've been up here pleading to you guys not to split the system. Now it may appear that the same driver that's passing you going in the other direction may make more than you, and you've been there longer because of the differences of the salary as well as the bid. So we asked you guys, we're not up here trying to be belligerent, and it's not a joke. We've sat in these RTC meetings for a long time. We've seen where commissioners have gotten up and walked out while we were trying to say, help us, because we help you guys all the time. We're not being, most of us are very courteous to our passengers. We're going the extra yard just to keep the city. We understand the industry is tourists. So we're going and we're doing what we have to do. Please listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Commissioner. I'm on the behalf of ATU Local 1637. I'm a union rep. I'm Kiki, and everybody know me. And we have been here more than 2 and 3 years going over the same stuff. I think in my heart that y'all think it's a joke. To us, it's not a joke. Some of us has been here from 5 to 15 years, and we do not want to relocate and start over and have another seniority number. So therefore, We need to take care of what's happening in our home first. We have 2 different companies coming in. They need to talk with us and sit down with the union instead of just trying to downfall whatever we didn't already earn. As so far as the wages, they looking at 1 to 2 to 3 years. Get to the 5 and 15 and 20 years, that's who have been here. I'm going on 9 years, and the pay that I get, it won't even make my household income. I have to look for my mother help. Some of y'all at a salary that y'all got, y'all don't have to worry about month to month or a title loan like they were saying. We have to do all that. And it's sad that these 2 companies come to our house. We didn't ask for the split. Y'all did that. I didn't work for MTA, Santa Monica. I didn't been into the medical field. I like what I do. So I shouldn't have to go and start another job to get the wages what I need to get to perform my household duties that the company's not allowing us to have. We don't get lunch breaks. We sweating. We going turning and burning. No bathroom breaks. When they say bathroom breaks, oh, y'all get to get up out your seat and go to the bathroom whenever y'all feel like it. We don't. We can't even eat. We like what we do, so we doing what we do. And then we have an issue with the beanies. They tell us we can't wear beanies at our job. It's cold outside. We got senior citizens that's out there with bald heads that can't grow no hair no more. So why they can't wear a beanie? And it's just like, what's the issue? They say RTC is behind it. So if you're behind the beanies, let me know today that you don't want MV employees to wear their beanies. It's the beanies, the skull cap that go over, Larry Brown, like how your head is. No hair. Well, I'm just saying. For you won't be cold at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm just saying, why is it an issue when we worrying about a beanie that we could need to worry about income or bathroom breaks or more time in the paddles? I drive to 206. We got a pavement on by the UMC hospital. It got 3 or 4 layers of black tar up there that you gonna go bumpty bump to pick up the passenger. If we have a wheelchair, we probably won't even get to get them safely. So y'all enjoy y'all Christmas. Hopefully we have a nice, successful Christmas and make out the money, do what we got. But if MV don't step up, like you said, we will be striking. And I'm 100% and 10% more. Wait a minute, I got 2 more seconds. We don't want to do it. When I worked for MTA, you took care of it. We was out strike for 6 months. But it wasn't a problem, so let's take care of that, Larry.
Thank you. And Kiki, I know you weren't referring to me that I always wear beanies during the winter. I know you weren't. But I certainly know what a beanie is. All right. Thank you all, and sincere best wishes for a safe and happy holiday season. This meeting is adjourned. We'll close the public comment period. This meeting is adjourned.
You didn't let me.